Legend, none other than Manu Chandaria. Now over to the interview.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Catherine Kasavuli, back there in Broadcasting House. Manu Chandaria is a renowned industrialist, philanthropist, as well as a leading education champion, not only here in Kenya but around the world. His company, Comcraft, straddles more than 40 countries, not only here in Africa but around the world. At the age of 92, Manu Chandaria has a frame that looks like it belongs to a 40-year-old person. We are privileged this weekend to have him on our show tonight. We want to find out from Manu Chandaria what drives him, what has kept him alive, what are his life mantras, and so much. Daktari, asante sana for joining us, and we are privileged to be with you this afternoon. Very good. You are 92 years old.
Yes.
You are a chairman of various companies.
Well,
how do you afford to chair board meetings at your age?
Well, now I don't chair very many meetings. I still chair some of the meetings, but majority of them I have retired now because it's a lot of years that I've chaired. Now that I chair only one or two meetings, and that's it. That means one or two companies, corporates. And that's only because it's the interest that we've wasted, or people who has vested interest or thought that I should be the one who should chair, like Bank of India. The Bank of India is a branch of Mumbai, and it's number 4th or 5th largest bank in India. But they thought that they wanted somebody whose name would be acceptable and honored. So I think I am still chairing them. Like that, a couple of other companies that I chair.
In your 92 years, what lessons have you learned that has guided you in your journey so far?
Well, the only thing that has guided me is 3 or 4 basic principles. Number 1, you cannot achieve anything unless you've got a vision. Vision is most important. Once you have a vision, you can then go along your vision. Number 2, there is no way you can get anywhere except hard work. Hard work is very, very essential. Number 3, integrity, honesty, honesty of purpose. Not only honesty just by money-wise, but honesty of purpose. Whatever you're doing, you're honest about it when you're doing it. And the 4th is you should be able to sleep. When you go to bed, you can sleep in just few minutes. That means you have washed off the whole thing before you go to bed. And that is very difficult because we all as human beings keep so much of in our mind. I didn't like that, I didn't like this, I didn't like that man. And before you go to sleep, and at least me, has been very interesting. I always say I have analyzed the day I spent. If I've not done good, and if I hurt anybody, I can't go at that time to ask him apology, but I'll apologize and say, I'm sorry. That means the minute I go to sleep, in 5 minutes, I'm asleep. This only happens when your heart is clean. Your mind is very clear, not otherwise.
Interesting principles. How would anyone afford to sleep so much in the modern day times that we are living, whereby you're surrounded by so much that is going around, You have tablets, you have iPhones, you have televisions to keep you awake. How do you develop that discipline of sleeping a lot?
It's a discipline. At 11:30, that's it. Sometimes if I'm tired, 11 o'clock. At 11:30, whatever am I doing, close, spend that 5 minutes of really making sure. If I help somebody, enjoy it at that time also. If I've been good to others, enjoy that particular moment. But it's just one day. And sleeping 6 hours. I get up again at 6 in the morning, or 6.5 hours, or just about that time. The point is that how can you go to sleep when your mind is full of issues which you cannot resolve? You have so many attitudes in the people that you fought with, or you don't like it, or you don't like what's happening. All has to be cleared. Whether you like it or not, things happen. You cannot stop it. Things happen on its own. But you can't make yourself responsible for that. So the sleep is one fundamental. And before going to sleep, clean your slate. And it worked out very well for me.
And cleaning the slate, connects very well with one of your principles of integrity and honesty.
Absolutely.
How do you inculcate a culture of honesty and integrity?
Well, number one is that I don't want to take advantage of others. If he takes my advantage, it's okay. But I don't want to take an advantage. Because every time that I grew up from nothing to something, I had more than what I had yesterday. So to me, it is very simple that no grudges. If you want to have a good day, then look at the people. Actually, you can't say you love the people, but you can say help who need your help. Because in this world, there are so many people who need help. And unless and until you have that attitude in mind, that no, I will help, irrespective who the person is. If I can manage, I will. If I can't manage, I'll say, sorry, I wish I could have helped you, but I can't.
At what point did you learn these principles of life?
Well, this principle just came out from my own religion, like Jainism. We believe in ahimsa, non-violence, truth. There's another principle, to listen to others. You have a point of view, I have a point of view. You have all the rights to say, and I have all the rights to listen. Maybe I don't agree, but it's better to agree to disagree. And I think that this particular principle, in my board meetings, in my external, to whoever I met, even if I disagree with him, I'll say, okay, let's agree to this, what we've agreed. And we can disagree, but agree and move on.
When you were growing up in the mid-1940s, your father, because of the World War II, was forced to shift from from Nairobi to Mombasa to India. And you also forced, this somehow disrupted your day-to-day life, like education, you had to abandon your friends and so much. How did this shape your life?
Well, it was, first was an example to me that my father came here about 106 years back. And he had one principle, that I come over here, I will earn 4,000 rupees, and then I'll go home, back to India, set a little shop there, and serve and help my family. That was the principle. After 6 months of hard work, from 6 in the morning until 12 at midnight, 3 meals at owner's home, and then sleep in the shop, opening up marikani bales of clothes and 4 or 5 blankets. Nairobi was very cold in those years. So that's it, and get up in the morning. After 6 months, when he asked him what his salary is going to be, the fellow said, "You're good, everybody likes you, we are satisfied, we'll give you 20 rupees a month, 120 rupees for 6 months. His dreams crashed. And he said, at this rate, when am I going to make 4,000? So it's not going to work. So he had 2 choices, go back or fight and do something over here. And he set up a small business. And slowly the business improved, became little bigger. But he took one decision. He could not speak English, he could not read English, he could not write English. So he said that unless I have somebody that every time he had to go to the post office, ask a friend or a neighbor, can you please come to the post office? Every time he has to go to the bank, come, can you please help me? Whoever can speak English, because it's a colonial time. So he decided that if the future of my children are going to be any different, they will study and educate themselves. And my mother was illiterate. At the age of 55, she started writing the first alphabet. But they all wanted that our children, if the future is to be different, they must study. And they took so much of pain to themselves to make very sure that you study. Like, in Indians, we feel that if you get up early in the morning and study, it remains here. So they'll get up at 5 o'clock, make us to get up at 5 o'clock, do our homework at that particular time before we go to the school. But that interest, making very sure that you study, and as such, except my 2 brothers who went up to one finished his primary school and was just in the secondary school, another on the last year of secondary school, all children, male or female, either they are graduates, either they are double graduates, or they are with doctorate. And this is what made a lot of difference in making very sure that future is, if you are educated, you can think, you can put your thoughts into shape, and for that, if you're illiterate, you can't.
You lived at a time when the world was going through the turmoils of the First World War and the Second World War, where there was so much suffering in the world. How was it growing up for you at such a time?
When I was born, it was 1929. My parents were okay, I would say, lower middle class family, to meet enough to eat, look after themselves. But in one room, there'll be 6, mother, father, and 4 children. In one room. And like that, it was so much frugality to make very sure that earnings go for more earnings rather than consumption. And that was one principle again, which was very important, that if I have 100, I want to make very sure if I can save 30 out of that, then I'm on the way for prosperity, not otherwise. But if I spend 130 and borrow 30 from somebody else, then I think it's a road to ruining yourself.
There is so much in terms of entrepreneurship that you learned from your father. Have you managed to impart these to your children?
Yes, because what happened is that once he said that schooling, and because of the World War II, in 1940, we were all sent out to India. My father and all the adult people stayed here. So rest of the family had to go to India. And not only with my family, but many Asians with their family were sent out to India. And when I remember that when I just landed in Mumbai, and we saw the light in the morning, we were just looking at, something sparkling. And then when we got out, we saw tall buildings, 6 stories, 7 stories, big avenues, tram running all over the place, double-decker buses. And I asked myself, hey, what's different between me and them? They look just like me. While in Kenya, we had hardly 2 or 3 buildings, which is good 2-story. So that really stuck on my head. There is no difference. It's only the work. And the work ethics started from then onwards. And then after finishing my 4 years, I went to Mumbai to do my first degree. So I lived in Mumbai, in a cosmopolitan big city. And after that, my parents decided I should go to America. So we went to America. And I still remember that the first night in New York, I stayed at the 63rd floor. When you get up in the morning and see people like that, you see people like this. And again challenged. Hey, their skin is probably white, that's it. But they're human beings. Just like 2 eyes, 2 ears, everything like me. How come? We are not that way. And basically, that kicked nothing doing. You got to put in hard work. Without that, it's not going to be possible. So, the whole issue is the challenges that comes across. I could have taken the challenge and forgotten about it. But I took the challenge and said, no, I want to be like that. I want to see how I flourish. And as such, I think that the whole attitude is, by seeing something, what can you take? If you can take something out of it, take it. Take good things out of somebody else.
Are you happy, the life that you have lived?
Yes, very happy. Very happy because, as I still remember, that from nothing, staying here with my parents in one room, 6 people, to what you see today here. And this is not today. This is 50 years back. So, the achievement of individual must not go here. Achievement should go here, so that it can create more compassion, more idea, thoughts to serve people. Because when you grow from here to here, the people are still here. You are only lucky that you have been here now. Unless and until you forget about this whole thing and say, and start walking 6 inches above the floor, then you cannot.
If you were given another chance to live your life, would you live it differently?
I would live it in a different way, manner is that I would expand faster than what I have done. Nothing more than that. Because I'm very satisfied the life that I've lived. I don't think that I want to have anything more than that. Life has been so good to me. So I cannot complain. And I don't think that every life is going to be like that. But what I've been able to do and achieve in my own lifetime I'm satisfied, and I'm happy about it that I've lived a nice life. I've lived a contributory life.
It's good that even your wife has joined you on this interview. What impact has she been in your life journey?
Well, she's been with me for 66 years. It's not yesterday. And we lived a life from nothing. And we built ourselves to something. And every time, she's a backbone. I can't say that I've done everything myself. Unless a time when I've worried, a time when I don't think that I can find a solution, I'll talk to her and speak to her. And she'll come out with, say, well, why don't you do something like this? Why don't you talk about this? And I think it's a friendship. Though we are married people, but there's more friendship between her and me. Because she has lived with me, she has given me the 2 children, both of enjoy. One just became 60 years on Diwali, on day before yesterday, on Diwali day. And the girl is all 65 years. So, because of her, I have felt my life as fulfilled. I've never been able to go around to do, because I knew at home there's somebody who is my backbone. She has helped me in this house, including the presidents, the ambassadors, the ministers. She has always served them well, and she looked after them. And not only me, but our people. On this compound today, there are 14 people working. But each one of them has got that connection. So I think that a good woman at your home is very important. If you don't have a good woman at home, then life becomes miserable sometimes. Here, because when I'm in misery, I can talk to her, I can speak to her. And she knows that if the family is to be developed, then she has to be calm, she has to be collective, and she must be able to participate in the family life. And today, we are a joint family. At one time, we have 55 members. So, to keep that family is not easy.
Today, the marriage institution is facing tremendous challenges. I mean, you have been together for 66 years. How have you managed to be together for that so long?
Well, what's simple is that when I'm wrong, I keep my mouth shut. That's the most important part. To accept you are wrong is not easy. But the question is that the only way we can continue keeping our family joined together is delivery of love and happiness. And she's a part of my happiness. So I think that people look at life in a different way. But if you want to be happy, then at least both of us should agree. Maybe it doesn't make difference that sometimes she doesn't agree with mine or I don't agree with her, but we agree to disagree. And that's very important for us. Because to live a life of happy life, you have to give and what you call give and take. It can't be only take. It has to give and take.
There are people who look up to you for business and for entrepreneurship motivation. What would you tell them?
Well, as mentorship, I just always tell them that, look, there's 4 main principles in life. That you got to be have a vision. You got to hard work. You got to be truthful to yourself and to the what you're doing. Integrity, discipline. If you don't have this, then you might just go up and down like that. But to want this curve, then these are the fundamental principles.
One would say that now you are in the sunset of your life at the age of 92. What has been the purpose of your life, if you were to be asked?
My purpose is very simple, straightforward. Serve the humanity. I serve the humanity by investments. Their families, the people work, their families are supported. I make profits out of it. I increase my profits, and out of that, I serve the humanity. But humanity is not only by writing checks. I didn't write a check when I wanted to create East African Business Council. I didn't write a check. It's giving time for a purpose which will improve the life of our people. And you must love the people. I'm not black. I'm not an African. But yet, I was born here. I live here. This is my country. So to me, is to serve, yes. So the purpose would be just plain, yes, you work hard, you gain, you enjoy, but at the same time, don't forget the people in your society. Extend your hand. Normally it's always like this. When somebody gives, it's like this. The minute you give this way, and the hand becomes this, it's a difference between only this way or this way. This is as you want. Everybody wants. Give. Very few can give. And I think to my purpose would be, yes, more people should give.
Very good.
And you don't have to have a big bank balance to give. You can serve the society.
What a legend. Manilal Premchand Chandaria, better known as Manu Chandaria, talking to us about different issues about his life. From religion to diet to principles, you have heard it all from Dr. Manu Chandaria. My name is O'Brien Kimani. You have been watching The Living Legends right here on KBC Channel 1. Back to Broadcasting House.